So let's move on. We already know who this guy is. Top 10, number 7. I thought he should have been top 5. There's no way.
Yes.
You know, like they had like I think 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the top 5. It's like, come on, man, show GK some love. I think he should have been top 5. We're talking about our guy George Kittle, and they were talking about over the past 2 seasons, he's had 1,500 yards after the catch. It's the most of any tight end in NFL history. That's amazing.
Yeah.
1,500 yards after the catch. They're starting tight ends in the NFL right now who don't have 1,500 yards combined over the past 2 years receiving the ball.
Right.
It just shows how good he is, bro. Like they were showing some of the highlights, some of the guys who were talking about him, and just watching it, like you kind of get mesmerized and be like, George Kittle is really good. Yes, he's in the right system. Yes, I feel like Kyle Shanahan played a huge role in helping George Kittle become who he is right now. Yes, I do believe that, right? But he is really talented. You don't find any talents like that anymore, bro.
He's one of the few guys in the NFL that makes it look like he's playing JV. Like he's varsity and everyone else is JV. Like, especially against the Saints, that final play, that's to me is the signature George Kittle moment of his career.
Yes.
Game was on the line, 4th and 1. I mean, Jimmy throws like a pass like at the line of scrimmage or right past it. And Kittle like drags 4 DBs down the field.
Oh my God.
What an image. Those are professional football players, and not 1, not 2, not 3 could tackle him. That's what I think of with Kittle. And with Kittle, I don't know who they ranked ahead of him, but to me, he's one of the few players in the league that has 0 weaknesses, like none. You could put him at wide receiver and he'd be pretty good. Like line him up straight at wide receiver. He could do it. You could put him at right tackle. I mean, he could probably hold his own. He's a freak. So I don't know who they put ahead of him. I haven't looked that closely at the list, but I don't see how he's not top 5.
Right. Yeah. It was Lamar Jackson. I know that for sure. It was Patrick Mahomes. It was Drew Brees. Russell Wilson. So those are 4 quarterbacks already above him in the top 10. Like,
was it Aaron Donald above him? Like, who's the best?
Aaron Donald was above him.
So he's the second best non-quarterback in the league.
Yep.
That's pretty good. I can't disagree with that. Aaron Donald's pretty good too, man.
Yeah, pretty damn good. And what I liked is the first guy that they had came on that they interviewed about him. As soon as they said something about 40, it was Everson Griffin, right? Everson Griffin's one of the
he would know.
Yeah, he's one of the edge defenders in the NFL right now. And if it wasn't for the money restraints, like Everson Griffin would be on the team right now. I think Everson Griffin's top 10, right? And as soon as they said something about the 49ers, he was like, I already know who you're talking about. I already know.
Go run the tape from the divisional round. That guy was moving Everson Griffin out of off the field.
Bro, they showed the highlight. Yeah. It was a blocking clinic. Like if I had a son and he was playing tight end, just watch George Kittle, right?
Yes.
This one, I would argue that he's a better blocker than Rob Gronkowski. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me.
They're different, but I agree. Rob Gronkowski was about 25 pounds bigger. So he could move people in front of him, maybe a little bit better than Kittle, although Kittle's so strong. But Kittle can do things in space that Gronkowski can't. Kittle, you can have him lead blocking like way down the field in ways that Gronkowski may not be able to get out there. Kittle's so unique. And the other thing about him is every time the Niners run the ball, or almost every time, they run behind him, and you know that he's going to be the lead blocker. He leads you to the ball carrier, and they still can't stop it. That's ridiculous.
Still can't stop it. Yeah, Brawnz, bro. How do you feel about Kittle being top 7, and do you think he deserved to be top 5, bro?
Yes, I was disappointed that he didn't make it to the top 5.
Okay, what's that?
Straight up, he's the number 1 rated PFF player
in NFL history.
Yeah, that goes, yes.
Right.
What's his weakness?
NFL
People say he doesn't score enough touchdowns, but that's more a function of the offense and the play caller. Like if Kyle Shanahan wants to call Kendrick Bourne's number inside the 10, what is Kittle going to do? Complain?
But we have to look at this too, bro. How many touchdowns did he have called back for
Great point.
He had
like 5, right? There was one against Carolina because someone had an illegal.
He had 2 in one game.
Tampa.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of touchdowns called back against Tampa. 3, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot of touchdowns that he had called back. So I think that
people forget that. That's a great point.
Yeah. And the reason why I said Rob Gronkowski, that he blocks better than Rob Gronkowski, because it's going to segue into this next topic. Me and Brawnz, we kind of talked about, I think we all talked about it before we started the show. And Skip Bayless, after seeing that George Kittle was the highest rated tight end in NFL history in the top 100, he was voted in by his peers. He said, congratulations to George Kittle, but he will never be as good as Rob Gronkowski.
Congratulations, but what a classy thing to do. Thanks, Skip.
Congratulations,
but you're a bum. Good going.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what?
I know he does not believe like 90% of the stuff he says, he does not believe. Like, I don't know how he goes to sleep at night.
I know.
I think maybe getting the $10 million a year from Fox is doing it.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
I mean,
no, but what he said honestly wasn't that controversial. I mean, Gronkowski's the greatest tight end of all time. And Kittle's going for that. For him to say he's never going to be as Gronkowski, how can you say that? I mean, if anyone could compete with Gronkowski's career, Kittle's off to that start. They're different, as I mentioned. I think Gronkowski's like a heavyweight tight end, and Kittle's more of like a middleweight tight end. But that doesn't make him worse. They're just different. Like one's a little bit faster, one's a little bit bigger. It seems like a statement that's nonsense, and he just did it for attention. But if you were going to say that Kittle's never going to be as good as Vernon Davis or Brent Jones, now you have a controversial statement. But to say he's not going to be as good as the greatest tight end of all time, like, okay.
I think that Rob Gronkowski had an advantage by using his size over a lot of guys. But as far as like being a great tight end, being a skilled tight end, being able to do everything, like I have two tight ends, including George Kittle, that I think that are better than Rob Gronkowski, and that I enjoyed watching more than Rob Gronkowski. That's
true. I mean, Gronkowski couldn't run after the catch like Kittle, and that's one of the most fun things to watch is just him rumble through tacklers.
Yeah.
I mean, who blocks better?
I would say that they have different strengths as blockers. Like you could put Gronkowski on a 280-pound base D end, and Gronkowski could move that guy. I mean, Kittle is blocking more like safeties because he's so fast. You have to put safeties on him, and he just destroys safeties. So I think they're both equally good in their matchups, but they're just a little different.
But when you look at what Kittle did to the Preston brothers and what he did to Everson Griffin and those guys,
that was crazy. I didn't think he could do that. That's Gronkowski stuff right there.
And that was the game that I was nervous about because I was like, they match up really well with us. Their defense is top 5. I don't know how that's going to work out, right?
Now remember that defense was tired. They had just played in New Orleans. They had to fly out the next week across country. That was a tired team. I don't know if they could have done that week 1 in Minnesota. It might have looked a little different. But still, he did it. Good for him. He did it.
And I feel like this. The other two guys that I feel that are better than Gronkowski is Anthony Gonzalez and Uncle Shay Sharp. Shay Sharp is better than Gronkowski. Like Shannon Sharp was a wide receiver.
Not as a blocker. But yeah, maybe as a receiver.
As a pure tight end.
I'm telling you though, Gronkowski, the reason he has the respect that Kittle has is because of the blocking.
Right.
Gronkowski is a serious blocker, man.
Yeah.
When he was healthy, younger.
Right.
I don't know what he's like anymore. He looks a lot skinnier now. Have you guys seen him recently? Looks a lot skinnier now.
It really looks like he aged a lot, bro. Like this game is a lot to him, bro.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that's going to look like.
I'm kind of worried about Gronkowski. Like, he really shouldn't be playing no more, bro. Like, he was talking about – he did an interview after he had retired. It was like 6 months after he retired. And he was talking about his brain fluid. And his brain fluid is so low that he has soft spots in his head like a baby.
Oh, no.
Oh, shoot.
Gronk is not bro. I really think that this is a bad idea for him. But we'll see what happens.